Olix Network 18 Mission Poshan Bhavishya Roshan. Celebrating 16 years of Young Turks.
Hello and welcome to Young Turks, India's longest running show on entrepreneurship and startups. I'm Shruti Mishra. Our guest today is the man who turned a boring idea into a $5 billion company. Mikkel Svane, many thanks for joining us on Young Turks. Mikkel, you know, when you first came up with the idea of Zendesk, our customer service software that is now worth $5 billion, everybody thought it was boring. But you know, when you shared the vision of the product and you know, everybody suddenly seemed to find it very fascinating. Tell us the startup story. How did you come up with the idea? And then how difficult was it really to convince the initial set of clients?
Zendesk is around 10 years old. We launched a little over 10 years ago, and most people believe that customer service had been, you know, invented. That was it. But nobody really took into account how much the internet, social media, and all these, the globalization we're seeing, how that has changed consumer expectations and changed how consumers are interacting with businesses. Yeah. So from going from something that was kind of, you know, parked in the corner to suddenly being almost the biggest driver of change and innovation within businesses, nobody foresaw that.
Yeah, and especially at the time when you started, right? So I just want to know, how did the three of you kind of decided one day? Because, you know, nobody was really thinking about the customer or the, you know, the end user really, and spending money. It was more of like a cost. So what made you, you know, suddenly bet big on this?
Two of us had been like working as consultants doing the business process implementation and the technology and implementation of these kind of customer service systems. And we saw from the inside how a lot of these projects became big IT projects and big change management projects and you know, big you know, employee management projects. It was very rarely kind of customer innovation projects. So it wasn't until you were working on these projects for several years, it wasn't until then that, you know, by the end of it, that people thought, okay, how is the customer experience actually? Yeah. So we, like, the whole concept was like, a traditional project takes 2 years to implement. Let's compress that so you can get up and running in weeks, and then focus all your energy on the customer experience.
And how was it getting the first sort of clients? Was it easy? Was it tough?
We are a child of the internet age, and we're all like, we were free, introverted technology nerds. So we just put it on the internet, and then we hoped that people would find it and discover it and start using it. Yeah. And that happened. So like, customers came to us in the early days, and that was a really fantastic experience.
You know, Zendesk has surpassed a $500 million annual revenue run rate, making it the fastest growing customer engagement platform. You know, what is your trade secret and what sets Zendesk apart from competition?
Really, a lot of it was about our approach, really putting the customer at the center of it and trying to remove the complexity of the business software. So you didn't have to think too much about kind of how complicated it was to install and maintain and run, but could just really focus on the customer experience. So keeping things beautifully simple and making it really easy for the businesses to connect with their customers and empower them to help themselves, provide transparency, and really being responsive to your customers. These are still like some of the principles that drive us today and help businesses provide great customer experiences.
You know, you acquired BIME Analytics in 2015 for $45 million. It claims to solve the complexity of data. What value has BIME got to Zendesk?
Data is such a key element of trying to understand your customers, especially today where businesses have millions of customers all over the world. So truly understanding the data and being able to easily visualize and drill down into your data is incredibly important. And this is where the technology from BIME that we acquired in 2015 can help our customers make that easier. So they don't need like specialists or scientists to really understand the data, but we try to commoditize it. We try to democratize access to really understanding your data, and they are a key element on our mission to do that.
And why did you choose BIM Analytics? Like, what made you bet big on them?
First and foremost, they were French, and you can't say no. You can't say no to the French. No, but it was a fantastic team, great team. They made some technology choices that we thought were great, and it's been a pleasure integrating that team into our organization.
Under your leadership, Zendesk listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 2014, and since then, it has seen an increasing number of enterprises selecting Zendesk software to build customer experiences. In fact, I believe 40% of Zendesk revenues comes from these larger companies. Explain to me, how are you helping these large companies better understand that how their business and product decisions impact customer relationships, and how are you helping them uncover the patterns that they were missing while all the data lived in separate places?
So Zendesk started out very much as a product for the smaller businesses, the innovators, the startups. But like today, all of the large enterprises realize that they're being disrupted and the market around them is changing if they don't keep up with customer expectations. And Zendesk has become a market leader in helping businesses engage and understand their customers. So businesses come to us to make sure they stay ahead of customers, they stay ahead of customer expectations, and help them keep ahead of all the trends that are disrupting traditional industries today.
And how cost efficient is it really, when these larger companies spend so much money, just understanding customer behavior? Is there a percentage that you can share with us that, how cost efficient really does Zendesk come out to be for them?
Our ambition with software is really to democratize it, and that means that we try to make it as easy as possible for anybody to use. So we try to keep the cost down as much as possible, but I think more importantly, we try to make it easy so that you don't need an army of consultants or an army of internally trained people to understand your customers and understand your data. So we really focus on providing agility, speed, and allowing our businesses really to adapt easily to a change in customer demands and in customer requirements. And that is one of the most valuable things you can bring to businesses today.
Let's talk about Guide Enterprise. It was your third product launch in the past 1 year after Chat Enterprise and Talk Enterprise. Take us through all three and what is their USP?
Our enterprise editions are really tailored for the larger enterprises, the larger businesses that have much more complicated demands, that typically have higher requirements to security, compliance, and these kind of things. So that's the definition of our enterprise products. Talk Enterprise, Chat Enterprise, and Guide Enterprise are all different products that helps our businesses kind of fulfill an omni-channel promise to their customers, so that their customers can reach out to them on any channel, whether it be through telephone, through chat, through messaging, through social channels. So Guide is our product that helps businesses provide self-service to their customers, so their customers can help themselves through the help of technology or through the help of other customers. So it's a knowledge base, it's community forums, it's different types of self-service, and we also provide some AI technology that helps customers, help them understand it.
So they don't actually require a customer service representative.
Yeah, and I think that's key. That's a key element to how we want to help ourselves as consumers today. If we can, we prefer to help ourselves. We don't want to talk to anyone. We don't want to reach out. We don't want to sit in any phone line or phone queue or anything like that. If we can help ourselves, that's basically how we prefer to be helped.
Mikkel, why is customer service constantly so hard for businesses to get right?
Well, so it's an interesting question, because by the core of it, like, customer service is not very complicated. It's about, you have a question, you have an issue, and you want somebody to help you, and that's the end of it. There's not more to it than that. The thing is, of course, that overall consumer expectations are changing. More and more, we have more and more customers, we have more and more global audiences, and the number of channels that our customers are reaching out to are growing rapidly, and our products are getting more and more complicated and more advanced.
Yeah.
So it's, for companies today, it's really a race to keep up with customer expectations. As a customer, all we want is just responsiveness, and we want to be empowered, and we need transparency.
Yeah.
But living up to that at scale is very, very complicated for businesses. And this is where technology like Zendesk can help businesses keep up with customer demands today.
All right, on that note, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere, as when we return, we talk to Mikkel about his book Startupland and his lessons in entrepreneurship. So stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Young Turks. We're in conversation with Mikkel Svane, a chairman, co-founder and CEO of Zendesk. Mikkel, you've authored Startupland, which essentially describes the journey of Zendesk from a startup all the way to an IPO. Why the need to write a book?
Writing a book is a terrible idea. It's very time-consuming. But yeah. I think that when you build a company that grows so quickly the way Zendesk has grown, yeah, where we are now so many people, every quarter we hire hundreds and hundreds of new people to the organization, and we grow rapidly. We now have millions of users. We have more than 100,000 brands using our software. Putting down in writing what were some of the original ideas behind this company and what was the original founding story becomes increasingly important to make sure that everybody has this as a point of reference. Because if you don't put it down in writing, it's people forget it and you lose it, and at some point, people make their own versions of it. Yeah. So now it exists and can be a reference for everybody.
What is that one thing you feel is very different and unique to your journey?
One thing about Zendesk that is different from a lot of other startups is that we didn't start in Silicon Valley. We're not a San Francisco-based company. We were three pale guys out of Copenhagen, Denmark, yeah, that had zero startup community, where you couldn't raise any money or anything like that. And we had to figure out, what does it mean to be how do you build a company today? And we had to figure out everything from the ground up. Yeah. So like that, our journey, I think, is unique, and I think it can be an inspiration, especially from founders that are not born within the big startup ecosystems.
Share some of the lessons that you've learned in your 11-year journey with the company, and what are the key takeaways from the book for startups?
One of the key takeaways is that it's a little crazy building a startup, and there's a lot of sacrifice, and you have to deal with the ambiguity of not knowing what tomorrow brings all the time. So I think that one of the key lessons is make sure that you also enjoy the journey, because you never know in what direction a startup will take you. In most cases you fail. Yeah. And that's a very real thing. So make sure that you really enjoy the journey, you learn from it, because maybe at some point you fall and will have to get back up again. As I said, we were three founders that were all very introverts, computer nerds. Getting out of your comfort zone and really engaging with your customers is defining for your business, is defining for your company.
You need to keep relearning, learning.
Yes, really interacting with your customers. Figure out a way, using Zendesk, for example, to really be responsive and be engaging with your customers. It is very critical for building a successful business.
All right, let's talk about Zendesk in India. What are the emerging trends that you see in AI, bots, and machine learning? What's the kind of potential that you really see for these in India?
Well, so I think one of the trends we see worldwide is that the amount of customer service interactions, the amount of engagement between consumers and businesses is growing exponentially. There's more and more products that need more and more service, and we as consumers have higher and higher expectations. So helping businesses provide a great experience while dealing with massive volume is really critical. And that's where technologies like AI and all these different things can help businesses manage their volume while still providing a good customer service experience.
So what makes for a satisfying customer service interaction, and how do you think bots and virtual reality technologies are going to transform conversations?
Well, the best customer service experience is, of course, the experience that never happens. or it gets resolved even before you know it, or it gets resolved instantly when you have an issue, or where you can help yourself. And that's how we, for example, that we use artificial intelligence, or we use machine learning models to help our customers. We have billions and billions of service interactions in our databases, and we can build models around this about how to help customers better. So one of our products, something called AnswerBot that you can use across all our products, helps businesses build content that can automatically help customers when they run into issues, so that customers can help themselves much, much faster. And this is really one of these things that can help both businesses and consumers with a much better experience.
Yeah, and also now companies are, taking this customer service encounters and turning them into marketing opportunities. What's your view on that?
An interesting element is that if you provide great customer service, that becomes one of the key elements that a consumer emphasizes about a business. So you can easily turn your customers into promoters of your brand by providing great customer service. The other element is, of course, that there's very little difference between a great customer service interaction and a great promotion. So like really helping businesses, making the distance between customer service, marketing, and sales as small as possible is critical for...
And it's a cheaper way of kind of getting and acquiring new customers, because your promoters will then act as your...
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, what role do you see bots playing in service encounters?
Well, there's no doubt that bots help businesses provide better customer service at scale. It's a way to kind of help. It's a way for businesses to help customers in a much more efficient way. Like you can train bots to provide all the basic questions that people may have, or to direct them to the right place much, much faster. And I think this is fascinating, and we see more and more of that stuff.
So I'm very curious to know, how do you empower Zendesk's own customer service team to kind of respond to Zendesk's own customers? How are you different now?
Well, we eat our own dog food, or whatever you say. Like, it's like having a great, we call our customer service people, we call them customer advocates. And that's their primary job, to be on the side of the customers. And empowerment is a really good term here, because like they have to be fully empowered to do what's right for the customer. So you don't put too much process on them. You need to empower them to always do what's right for the customer.
So you've recently launched your new product, Zendesk Suite, and you're also going to launch a new study later. Tell us about it.
The Zendesk Suite is a collection of our key products. So our core workflow Zendesk support product, Guide, which is the self-service product with AI technology, Talk, which is our call center solution, and Chat for web chat and messaging. We're combining all of these products in a suite and making all these products work seamlessly together, so businesses can deliver a true omni-channel experience. We also make it very easy for them to deploy it, so they don't have to think about how many people to have here and there on the different channels, so that all the agents can serve all channels at the same time.
So what are your expectations with the project, with this new product launch, and how upbeat are you about it in India as well? We
think that businesses from all over the world, also here in India, especially fast-growing businesses, small businesses, that are looking for an efficient way of serving today's customers across all of these channels and provide this seamless experience. I think for all of these businesses, this will be a very compelling offering, and also something that that is cheap and easy to set up.
What is the price point that you're launching this at?
I think our professional edition of these products, for all 4 products, starts at $97, as far as I recall, per agent. And then there's an enterprise edition too, but that means you can be up and running and have your customer service rep support your customers across telephony, chat, messaging, social channels, and email and web for $80 per person.
So take me through the strategies for 2018. What are the industry tie-ups, and what are the India expansion plans especially?
Yes, so India has been a fantastic market for us. We set up operations here almost a year and a half ago. And the team has been doubling every 6 months since then. So we now have a few thousand customers in India, and we're working with some amazing startups that are doing some fantastic stuff. Customers like Ola, customers like Shadi, customers like Zomato, and also working with traditional businesses, ITC, for example. So we've seen tremendous amount of growth here, and are looking forward to continue to invest in India.
All right, so you said you're looking at continuously to invest in India. Any startups that you're looking at, and what sectors would those be in? Have you spoken to startups here?
Yeah, we're meeting a lot of startups while I'm here, and it's very interesting.
Can you name them? I'm not asking if the deal has been finalized, no. Just what's on
There's a lot of great startups.
So across sectors.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lot of innovation happening here in India, and it's very interesting to see.
What's the kind of potential that you see globally for Zendesk as well as in India?
We are a company at a $500 million run rate now, and we are moving towards $1 billion in 2020.
Yeah.
To live up to that, we need to continue to innovate for our customers, to bring new products to market that help them engage with their products and help them really find the opportunity in every customer interaction they have.
And are you on track to achieve that?
Yes,
2 more years to go.
Yes, we are.
Well, Mikkel, it was a pleasure talking to you. Wish you the very best for your future plans. With that, it's a wrap on this special edition of Young Turks. As always, write to us on youngturks@nw18.com. Ping us on our Facebook and Twitter handle, CNBC Young Turks. Until next week, from the entire team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.
Celebrating 16 years of Young Turks.